Hi, hello all. Welcome to Java Programming Lecture Series, lecture number 9. In this lecture, we'll discuss about control statements in Java. Already we started in previous video control statements. We discussed this if statement and if else statement. If you have not gone through that video, please pause this video and go through the previous video containing if statement and if else statement. In this video, we'll talk about another two forms of if statements, nested if statement and if else if a ladder statement. Let's get started. Nested if statement, how it can be written in Java, we'll discuss today. A nested if statement is an if statement that is the target of another if or a else statement. That means in one if statement, we can write another if else statement, or in else statement, we can also write another if else statement, and such type of including if statements in another if statement is called as a nested if statement. That means either at if or in else, we can write one more if else statement, and this form of if is called as a nested if statement. So when we nest if statements, and one thing we should remember, okay, so else statement always refers to the nearest if statement. Generally we make a mistake here. Our understanding will be in one way, but the execution of if statements and else statement is another way. Then we get wrong outputs. Okay, so that's why if we understand this point very carefully, then we can write the correct logic here. Okay, so what we need to remember is else statement always refers to the, that means whenever you are nesting if else statements. Okay, so please remember else statement always refers to the nearest if statement that is within the same block as the else, and which is not already associated with an else statement. Okay, so each else, in short, we can say that each else will be associated with the closest if statement in nested if statements. Okay, so a simple example we'll consider here. See, I have one if here, if I equals to 10, then the if begins here. Inside this if, I am writing another if statement. Say if j less than 20, a is equals to b, I am saying. Then I have one more if else statement in this. Okay, if k greater than 100, c is equal to d, else a is equal to c. Then this if statement ends here, closing brace. Then after I have one more else here, else a is equal to d. Okay, so here which else belongs to which if statement we need to understand. Okay, so see here in if statement we have included another if else statement and if statement. This is called a nested if statement. This way of writing if statements is called as a nesting of if statements. Okay, so what happens here? If the first condition is true, then it enters the outer if. Okay, so inside this we have, see here, one if statement. If this is true, it executes this, and there is another if statement. If this is true, it executes this, and there is an else statement. Okay, so here this else belongs to either this if, whether k greater than 100, or if belonging to this j, to which if statement, there are two if statements, but there is only one else statement. Okay, so to which if statement this else belongs to. That means what the compiler will do is, if you have not explicitly told to the compiler, then what the compiler will do is, compiler always associates the else to its closest if statement. That means this else belongs to this if statement containing k greater than 100. Okay, so that means this if j less than 100 if statement. This if does not have an else statement. This is a simple if statement. Okay, so there is no, that means when the condition is true, you are executing this. Otherwise, you are directly going to the next if statement. There is no else for this first if statement, but this else belongs to this second if statement. Similarly, this else is there. Okay, and you have mentioned clearly this from opening brace from here to here, this is the if statement. Okay, and this else belongs to this outer if statement. If this I is equal to 10 false, then directly it comes to this else part, and in this else we have only one statement. Okay, so that is how the each else statement is associated with or associated to the nearest if statement. That's how the program will be executed by the compiler. So indentation doesn't matter here. That means if you make this if indent into inner side, okay, so it doesn't mean that this else belongs to this if. If you write exactly below this outer if below else this, it doesn't mean that it is belonging to this if statement. Okay, so always compiler associates else statement to its nearest if statement. If there is any ambiguity, this is the rule followed by the compiler. So we should be very careful when we are nesting if statements. Okay, right. A simple program where we can use these nested if else statements is to find the greatest of 3 numbers. Okay, let us write a simple program demonstrating these nested if else statements. Let me go back to Notepad. Okay, I have opened a Notepad here. What we do is I remove this entire thing. Okay, so here we define the class as a greatest of 3. Greatest of 3 numbers. Okay, so this is my class name. Then I have created a scanner class here. Object I have created for the scanner class. I want to read data from the keyboard because 3 numbers I need to enter. Okay, right. So then I'm reading. Before this, ask the user to enter 3 numbers. Okay, so say give a message to the user system.out.println. Say enter 3 numbers. Enter 3 numbers. Okay, now user enters 3 numbers. One by one you read into 3 variables. Say int a is equals to sc dot next int. How we can read? By using next int method. Sc dot next int. Similarly, read second number and third number. Now change the variable names here. This is B and the third numbers I'm reading into variable C. Okay, so now A, B, C contains the 3 numbers. Now we want to find out which is greater, either A or B or C here. Okay, so generally what we do, what is the logic we follow here when we have 3 numbers A, B and C. Okay, so generally what we do, we compare first 2 numbers and we identify among these two which is greater. Okay, so based on that we compare with C here. Okay, so then among these two which is greater, then that will become the greatest number. That will become the greatest number. Okay, so this is one logic. Or you can also compare in this way. You take the first number and compare with both the numbers. If it is greater than these 2 numbers, then you can declare A is greater. Otherwise, you take B and compare with A and C. If it is greater than A and C, then you can declare B is greater. Otherwise, A and B are not greater. Then obviously, no need of testing here. C you can declare as a greater. This is other logic. Okay. So here nesting of if statements, if we want to demonstrate, then one by one number will compare and we can demonstrate nested if else statements, how we can write in a programming. Okay, right? So what I do, first I take the two numbers, then I compare these two numbers and I identify which is greater in this. Okay, so I'm using a logic here. So what I do is, first I'm comparing here. So for comparison, we use if statement. If A greater than B, if A greater than B. If this is true, now I'm just writing the skeleton here. If this is true, I'll write the statements here. Otherwise, if this is false, then I write the statements here in this else. Okay, so that means I'll go to this else part and I'll write the statements in this else. Okay, now if you write the skeleton like this, then it becomes easy to develop the logic. Okay, now it is clearly understood. If the condition is true, I go here. Okay, if the condition is false, then directly I'll go to else and then I develop the code or I write the code in this else part. Okay, right. So first we'll take up the true case here. If A greater than B, okay, if A greater than B is true, assume the true condition is true. What does it mean? A is greater. That means among these two, A is greater. Now what you need to do? You need to compare A with C. You need to compare A with C. You cannot declare because there is one more number to compare. Okay, so that means inside the if block, again you need to compare. You need to compare A with C. A greater than C. If this is true, what does it mean? Now see here, A greater than B, yes. A also greater than C, yes. Okay, so if it is also greater than C, that means it is greater than B and greater than C. That means it is greater than both the numbers. Okay, so then you can declare that A is the greater. Okay, so directly you can print here, or you can take a variable big there. Okay, so you can declare a variable big and you can assign it to big. Okay, so say int big and you can just say here big is equals to A. Big is equals to A. Otherwise else. Otherwise else, that means A greater than C, false. A greater than C, false means C is the greater. Okay, so C will become the big. Okay, so then you assign big is equals to C. Big is equals to C. Now this is the true case. This is the code for a true case. Okay, so first A greater than B. If this is true, then what you are doing? You are comparing with C. If it is also greater than C, then you can declare A as the big one. Otherwise, C is the big one. Why? Because C is greater than A, which is also greater than B. Okay, so then C also greater than B. That's why you are declaring C as the big. Okay, right. Now, first these two numbers you compared. Okay, so now come here. A greater than B, false. A greater than B, false. That means these two numbers you compared and condition is false. What does it mean? B is greater among these two. Now you need to compare B with the C. So when the condition is false, where do you go? You go to else part. You go to else part. Now inside the else, again, I need to compare B with the C. Whether B greater than C. If this is true, what does it mean? B will become the big. So big is equals to B. Otherwise, C will become the big. Else, big is equals to C. Else, big is equal to C. C will become the big. Okay, so this is the code for a false part. Okay, that means the first condition is false, then control jumps to else part, and here we are comparing with the C. B and C we are comparing, we are identifying. Okay, so once you come out from this condition, now you identified the big number there and stored in a variable called as a big. So directly print the variable big that gives the greatest of three numbers. So println, just you can say biggest number is equal to or greatest number is equal to. Okay, so biggest number is equals to, then you can say plus big, where will be stored in a variable called as a big. Okay, so this is how we can write the code, develop the code. Now see here, in if statement, we have written another if else statement. In else also, we have written another if else statement. This is called as a nesting of a if else statements, nesting of a if statement, nested if statements we call it as. Okay, so let me save the program. So what is our class name? Greatest of 3. This is our class name. Let me just copy the class name. Now I save the program. Say save as. .java, and in double quotes you give this file name. Okay, and make this type as a all files. Save it. Okay, so then go back to command prompt. Right, so it opens the command prompt. Then we'll move on to E-try. Okay, so then say cd java programs. Now I compare. I'll compile this. .java. Yeah, so there is ABC, these variables I included here. Extra data I am providing here. Okay, so just remove this, save the program. Again, let me compile it. Yeah, okay, so then run the code. Now enter 3 numbers. Okay, so I enter say 10, 20, 30. Now biggest number is equal to 30. That means in place of C, we have given 30 and it is printing. Okay, so now we make A as a big one and let us see. Okay, so enter. Now say I enter 100. Okay, so 50. Then I say 20, I enter. Now biggest number is equal to 100. Okay, so in place of B, we enter biggest number and we'll test. All the test cases you should work out. Okay, all the possibilities you should check. Now I say 100. Okay, so then say 200. Okay, so then I say 50. Now biggest number is equal to 200. Okay, so in A place, B place and C place, if you enter the biggest, all the possibilities, it is checking correctly and giving the answer. Okay, so this is how we can write a nested if else if statements in our programming. Right, so going back to our PPT. Then the next form of if statement is if else if ladder. If else if ladder. If else if ladder, it is nothing but a sequence of nested if statements. Sequence of nested if statements. Okay, so syntax, how if else if ladder can be written. Syntax, if we consider, now see here, it begins with keyword if and condition 1. Within the parenthesis, give the first condition here. If then followed by statement 1. Okay, so then if this condition 1 is true, then it executes statement 1. If the condition 1 is false, then it goes to else. After else, then immediately there is another if statement. If condition 2, then statement 2, else. Again, after else, immediately it comes if statement again. Okay, so else, if, that means each else will be followed by an if statement. Each else will be followed by an if statement. That's why it is called if else if ladder. It looks like a ladder here. It looks like a ladder here. Okay, so now see here, else if condition 3, statement 3. Like this, you can write n conditions here. You can write n condition, and finally, if the nth condition is also false, then it goes to final else, and this is the default statement executed. That means if all the n conditions are false, finally this final else statement, that is default statement, this is the statement executed by default. That's why this is the last statement, default statement is executed when if all the n conditions are false. Okay. Now, if we see the flow of execution of this nested else if ladder, that is very, very important. We need to understand here. Now, what happens? First, it checks this condition here. It checks condition 1 here. Okay. If the condition 1 is true, then this statement is executed. Statement 1 will be executed. This is executed. So after executing, now see here, this entire thing comes under else part here. Okay. So that means it won't go to this else. This entire thing is in the else only. Okay. So that means the rest of the ladder will be skipped, and after executing statement 1, directly the control jumps to the statement following after the directly comes here. Okay. So comes to the statement following after this else if ladder. It comes here like this. Okay. So from here directly it jumps here. It comes skipping rest of the ladder. If condition 1 is false, then it goes to next else, immediate else it follows. Okay. So again there is a second condition. If condition 2, it checks. If this is true, statement 2 is executed. Okay. In condition 1 is false, then statement 1 is not executed. Please remember, if condition 1 is false, this is skipped here and directly control jumps to this else part here. Okay. So then condition 2 it tests. If this is true, statement 2 is executed. If condition 2 is true, statement 2 is executed. After executing this, then the control directly jumps to this part. Okay. So directly it follows here, it comes here. Following the statement after the ladder. If condition 2 is also false, then it comes to next statement, else, next else. Okay. So that means if this is false means statement 1 is not executed, statement 2 is also not executed. Okay. So then it comes to this else, then test the condition 3. Condition 3 is tested here. If this is true, statement 3 is executed. Then directly control jumps to the statement following this ladder. Okay. So directly it comes to this here. Okay. So whatever statement follows here, it comes here. If condition 3 is also false, then statement 3 is not executed. Like this, it checks condition 4, condition 5, condition n it checks. Assume there are n conditions. Condition n it checks. Assume all n conditions are false. Then this is the final else statement. The control comes to this else, and this is the statement, default statement, and this is executed finally. That means in this else if ladder, either statement 1 or statement 2 or statement 3 or statement n or default statement, only one of these statements are executed. Only one of these statements are executed. But not all. Please remember. Okay. So this looks like a else if kind of a statements will write. That's why it is called as a if else if ladder. We call it as a if else if ladder. This is the execution flow of a if else if ladder. This we need to understand. This is very, very important. Okay. So a simple, see here what happens, how it is executed. The if statements are executed from the top to down. Okay. So it follows from condition 1 onwards. That's what he is saying. Okay. So from top, they are executed, they are evaluated. As soon as one of the conditions controlling the if is true, the statement associated with that if is executed, and the rest of the ladder is bypassed. That means skipped. If none of the conditions is true, that means then the final else statement containing default statement will be executed. Okay. So this default is the statement which is executed if all the conditions are false. If all the conditions are false. A simple example program we will see here. Okay. So directly I have included the program else if ladder class name. Okay. So inside the main, what I am doing is I'm declaring a variable month. I'm assigning the value 4. Then I have a variable called as a season, which is of type of string. Okay. So I want to find out this month, April belongs to which season. Okay. So we have 4 seasons like winter, summer, monsoon, and autumn. Okay. Or you can I splitted this rainy season into two other parts, three months, monsoon and autumn, like this. Okay, just you can just see here. Okay, so if month is equals to 12 or month equals to 1 or month equals to 2. Okay, so then that comes under winter season. Then I'm assigning the string winter to variable season. If now what happens in our case, month is equal to 4, then it checks month is equal to 12, no, false. Month is equal to 1, false. Month is equal to 2, false. So in logical OR, if all the statements are false, then this entire expression becomes false. Okay, so that's why here this statement becomes false, this expression becomes false, then it goes to else here. Okay, so then again it checks here, month is equal to 3, no, false. Month is equal to 4, yes, true here. Okay, so once a true condition is met here, immediately it comes to the next statement and it executes this statement. It won't go to the next step, because in logical OR, if one of the condition is true, then no need of checking remaining conditions. Okay, so directly it goes to the next statement and executes season is equal to summer. Okay, so after executing this, directly control from here jumps to this system.out.println. It is not part of this else if ladder, please remember. Okay, so from here it directly jumps here, then it prints April is in the summer. Okay, so this is how the output is printed. April is in the summer season. April comes under a summer season. Okay, so if you change the value here, okay, so for example, you might have given the value as a 10, something like. Okay, so then here this becomes false, then it goes to next else. Month is equal to 9, no. Month is equal to 10, yes, true. Then it goes to say season is equal to autumn. Okay, so then it prints something like 10 means October. Okay, so October is in the autumn season, something it prints. And if you give a number other than 1 to 12, okay, so what happens here? This is false, this is false, this is false, and this is also false. If your input is not between 1 to 12, then finally it comes to this else part and it says C is an invalid month. Okay, so it prints as an invalid month. That's how the output will be printed there. Okay, so here just you can observe how if else if ladder is written here. Okay, else if in this way we are writing here, and it looks like a ladder. Just see here. Okay, so when we use this else if ladder, when we have a series of conditions to be tested, one after the other, you want to test the condition, and accordingly, whenever a condition is met, you want to perform an action. Okay, so in such case, we use this else if ladder. Okay, right. Then, yeah. So here are the questions to make your hands dirty. Okay, so try to implement these. Write a Java program to find a grade of a student as per the following rules. Okay, so generally to find a grade of this student based on the percentage of marks. Okay, so say greater than or equal to 80, distinction, 60 to 79, first class, 50 to 59, second class, 40 to 49, third class, and less than 40, fail. Okay, so you write a program such that it prints a grade of the student, and generally student will get only one grade, either distinction or first class, but not a 2 or 3 grades. More than one grade is not possible for the student to award. Okay, this is one question to make your hands dirty. Then yeah, we have another question. Yeah, same, I think. Okay, right. Yeah, this is another question. So this is a real-time example problem I have taken here. Okay, so you can implement using if else if ladder. An electric power distribution company charges its customers as follows. Okay, so number of units consumed 0 to 200. This is the rate of charge, 50 paise per unit. And if the number of units are between 200 and to 400. Okay, so this is rupees 150 plus 65 pice per unit excess of 200. And if the number of units are between 401 to 600, then this is rupees 250 plus 85 pice per unit excess of 400. And if the number of units are 601 and above, this is how they charge 350 rupees plus 1 rupee 25 pice per unit excess of 600. Okay, so you write a Java program which reads number of units consumed. Okay, so you need to enter number of units consumed, then print the amount to be paid by the customer. Okay, so these two are very good examples to implement a if-else-if ladder. Now, this is the question for food for your brain. So pause the video, read the question, and try to find out the answer. And please send your answers in comment section. All your answers, any suggestions, advices also you can post in the comment section. And let us look into the question. What is the output of the Java program? Say our variable int a is equal to 10, then if a equals to 9. Okay, so system.out.println hello, and system.out.println welcome, else system.out.println y. Okay, so a, b, c, d are given here. So choose the correct option and send your option in the comment section. Okay, A is hello, welcome, B is bye, C compiler error, D none. Okay, right. Next, there is another food for brain question. Output of this program. Okay, so say int marks 80, marks greater than 70, and this is the code. Please go through the code, pause the video, look into the code, and these are the options, and select the correct option and send your answer in the comment section. That's all for today. Thank you all. And friends, if you are not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to the channel. And if you like this video, like and share this video with your friends. Thank you all.